hope you're off to a good week. My week's going well. I always enjoy Mondays. It's one of my favorite days of the week. And for many people, that's kind of a dread. But for me, it's the opportunity to get off to a great start. And I used to always refer to Mondays as kind of double Mondays. I want to get twice as much done on Mondays as most people to get off to a good start. And then when it gets later in the week, I'm not saying I can cruise, but I know I've already had a great week if just I get Mondays done. It's kind of how I look at things. Well, thanks for joining me tonight. I'm going to be talking about 13 behaviors of excellent leaders. When I think about people that lead well, lead themselves well, which is the theme of this Facebook Live. And by the way, this is my 33rd episode for Facebook Live. So I've done 33 of these. I've got another probably 20 already written or thereabouts, maybe 18 to 20. So I hope this has been a blessing to you and something that you've enjoyed. This is one of the ways that I can pour into other people in all parts of the world. See, I'm a leadership consultant that works with leaders in places like Europe and Africa and Thailand and Ecuador and a lot of places in the United States. So I can't get every place. And this is one of the ways that I can deliver some things, hopefully to add value to you and be a benefit to you. So I'm going to be talking about these 13 behaviors of excellent leaders. And I was thinking about this just a little bit earlier that, our words are certainly important. We want to make sure we speak, the right words and we say it the right way with the right tone. But that means nothing without the right behaviors. In fact, it can come across as being incongruent and you lose a lot of credibility. So it's so important to make sure that our words match up with our behaviors. And I would say that your behaviors is what people are paying attention to. So they're looking at that. So let me just share with you, and I just kind of randomly came up with this list. It could have been 15, 14, 12, 10. It landed on 13 for some reason of behaviors that I think that I see in excellent leaders, and I try to practice these myself, but I've got work to do on most of these. So hopefully this will help you just like it's helped me. So let's dive in and talk about the first one, which is, and by the way, if you are a leader, and I believe, and parenthetically, I believe that every person is a leader. If nothing else, you get to lead yourself. So, a leader that wants to do things with excellence should want to practice these 13 behaviors, okay? So let's go into it that you are a leader, I'm a leader, and because we are a leader, let's do it with excellence, and these 13 behaviors will help us to do that. So here's the first one: talk straight. Nobody likes to be, politicized or talked around or patronized. They really want you to be straight with them. Now, let me add a caveat there. You got to be kind to people, okay? You talk straight, but you do it you do it with truth and love, and not just all truth, okay? So there's got to be love there and kindness that goes along with that. But people want you to shoot straight with them. Let people know where they stand. People get nervous. They start worrying. They get anxious when you, as a leader, and someone may report to you, and they have no idea where they may stand with you. So talk straight. Second, demonstrate respect. And I would say this goes for anybody and everybody, that you should demonstrate respect. It doesn't mean if they're the very, very part-time with the lowest of low jobs in any organization, you show them as much respect as you do the person that's the head of the organization. And I believe that. We need to demonstrate respect to everyone at all times. Third one, create transparency. And this is a little bit like talking straight, but err on the side of disclosure. Don't play things. You want to always keep confidences. That's important. People need to trust you with that. But you don't need to play this game. You play everything so close to the vest. People don't know where you stand, where you are on things. I like to err on the side of disclosure. Keep things somewhat open, transparent. People appreciate transparency. When you're transparent, it comes across as being genuine, authentic, and people tend to trust you more. The fourth one is right wrongs. Start with yourself. When you do something wrong, admit it. Just own it. Say you made a mistake and say you're sorry and hope it's not too bad. And then right wrongs in others. Don't allow bad behavior. If you're a leader and you have someone that's a direct report of yours, your other people that work with you, they're watching to see how you handle people that that do things wrong. And I'm not saying they make a mistake, but when their behavior, their attitude is off, it's not right, it's not good, they're looking for you to correct that as a leader. If not, they'll lose confidence in you and they'll wonder what's wrong with your leadership. So don't allow bad behavior in others, but mostly make sure you correct your own wrongs. And here's the fifth one: show loyalty. Be careful not to talk behind people's back. That's just not a healthy thing. And I know we're all guilty of that to certain degrees, but I really got where I kind of cringe on that, and I guard myself when someone starts heading that path not to do that. Now, there are certain times where I may be talking to another leader that we may have a problem area in the organization that we're trying to coach this person, that we have to have some honest conversations about this person's performance or their attitude or their behavior. You got to do some of that. But just be careful that you're not doing things behind a person's back, that you're saying unkind things about them. If you've got an issue with them, go directly to that person and do that. And then I would say the other thing about show loyalty there is freely give credit to others. If you're the leader, give your team more credit than you give yourself, and certainly never take credit for someone else on your team's work. So when something goes successful, you give them credit. When someone on your team does something well, you don't take any credit at all for that. You never do that. You talk about causing problems within the organization, your team, that will do it. Number 6, as a leader, your behavior, your pattern needs to be, this person can deliver results. I'm not sure how they'll do it, but man, they can execute, they can get things done. They just know how to deliver results. So consistently perform at a very high level. Man, that's a track record. People are willing to follow people that can deliver consistent results. Number 7, get better. People need to notice that you're always improving. There's continuously this improvement happening in your life. You're learning, you're growing. Be that constant learner that you can continue to help people to grow themselves. So you're getting better, but you're helping your team to get better as well. People want to follow that person. That is a behavior of an excellent leader. Number 8 is confront reality. Don't be in this denial that you don't even look and pay attention to what's really going on. Put your head in the sand, if you will, if I can use that. You know, one of my favorite definitions of leadership is defining reality. Same thing. As a leader, confront reality. Figure out what it is. Discuss the undiscussables. The things that people don't normally want to talk about as a leader. Sometimes you need to raise those and talk about those. Number 9 is clarify expectations. You need to always make sure that you disclose what the expectations are, and then you need to reinforce those expectations. One of the biggest issues in any relationships is unmet expectations. So as a leader, you need to lead out and give clarity and lay out what those expectations are, disclose and reinforce along the way. And then number 10, practice accountability. And this is where it starts. The higher you are up in leadership, the more accountable you must be because of the impact within the organization. And people will tend to follow you when you are more accountable. So if you're the number 1 or the number 2 person and you got 100 people that work under your span of care, you got to be more accountable than that 100 people. There's less margin for error. There's less margin for bad behavior. You got to be more accountable. So you keep yourself accountable first, and then you're able to keep others accountable as well. And then number 11 is listen first. Listen first. And I'm saying that a second time because that's one of the things I have to always work on. And actually, I'm getting a little better. I'm building in some disciplines. I'm getting some extra coaching there and learning some things for me to do a better job to listen first. Listen before you speak, and always seek to understand before you're understood. Sometimes I want to get my point across, and I need to seek to understand. So listen first. That's number 11. And then number 12 is keep commitments. If you tell someone you're going to do something, you need to deliver on that. You need to follow through. Follow through on what you say. It is so important for your leadership. That is a behavior that will put you in a bad place as a leader. When people can't depend on you to get it done. When you make a commitment and they never know if you're going to hit the deadline, if you're going to get back with them, that's going to be problematic. And what it does, if you're a leader over a large organization and they see you do that, you give them permission, if you will, that they can do it as well. Because how can you hold them accountable when you've not done it yourself? And then number 13 is extend trust. All right. Now, one of the things that's got me in trouble through the years is I tend to trust people until they prove otherwise. And in fact, I was listening to a Craig Rochelle podcast the other day, and I love this line. He said, you don't earn trust. People don't have to earn trust. They earn mistrust. And I really like that play on words there. You don't have to get people to earn trust, but they can earn mistrust by not following through, not being reliable, not being dependable. But you give people trust. They earn mistrust. So the 13th one there is extend trust. That needs to be your norm. Trust people. Give them an opportunity. And then they could prove to you that you couldn't trust them, but they need to start out with your trust. So I'm just curious, out of these 13 behaviors that lead to excellent leadership, that leaders that do it in an excellent way, which one of these 13 would you say you need to work on the most? Okay. Now, you know which one is mine. You could probably know that one if you've listened to any of my episodes on Facebook Live. All of these I've got to work on. The one I've got to continue to work on the most is number 11, which is listen first. Listen first. And let me ask you another question. Well, please post that. I'd be curious which one of these, we'll do a little survey, which one of these out of these top 13, which one would be the one you need to work on the most, okay? And you can even just put a number if you choose to. They should be posted there for you. But which one of these 13 do you need to work on the most? And then let me ask you this. This would be doing me a little bit of a favor just for some feedback. Which part of my talk has been most helpful or valuable to you? You know, there's been something, man, this really spoke to me. That would help me to know what's helpful to you. So what's been, in my discussion with you today, on my talk, what's been most helpful or most valuable to you? All right? And then one other thing I'd ask you to do, if this has been helpful to you and valuable, hit the share button. That way it can get to more people. By the way, my talk last week, it was just very brief on the greatest of all time. By the way, Drew Brees ended up having a spectacular game. He's the one I consider, again, personally in my heart, the greatest of all time. Drew Brees, the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, had one of his best games in his entire career, where he broke the all-time passing yards record of another one of my favorite players, Peyton Manning. So it was one of my most viewed episodes that I've done. I thought that was interesting. It was mostly geared toward guys, I'm sure, but I know we got some female football fans out there, maybe Drew Brees fans. Well, listen, hit that share button, pass it on to others, list one that you need to work on the most, and share anything with me and everybody else that was helpful or valuable to you. And listen, I'm going to keep leading and living well this week. I want you to keep doing it as well, and we'll see you next time around. Take care.